So, hopefully now we're streaming. Good. Excellent. Oh, I don't see any video yet, but... Good. Excellent. So now, we're up. This is Science Life. So this will either be a great success or a cataclysmic failure. And I'm not entirely sure which. So what we've got here is an airbrush. This is the thing I'm going to modify to burn sodium. Hopefully I'm going to do it live here on camera. So in the first instance we're just going to set it up to burn some fuel. So we're going to start with pentane, I think. Okay. Oops. Not a good start. Okay. Right, so in the first instance, we're just burning some pentane. Now the nice thing about these little airbrushes, of course, is they're very limited in the actual scope of what can actually go wrong, because only a few mils of fuel in there. But the combustion rate that you get on these is about what you would get in a car, turns out. So, well, car when it's idling, maybe. So we're going to put in a full 3 mils. I'm probably not going to put it all in. There we go. So there's just a few mils of pentane in there now. And so, if we light this one up, we get a fairly decent flame. And we do get some control over how much gas we put in. I can jack the pressure up even higher than that, but this doesn't look too bad. So that's burning about a mil, probably a minute. And it's actually putting out quite a lot of heat there. And it's just about to run out, and it runs out. Super. Right, now I've also got some toluene here, which, so, yeah, you can see that, okay. Which one is the one that's, the label is running? Yeah, okay, that smells very pentane-like. Okay, so just a few mils of pentane, just to give you an idea of what can go wrong. If it catches fire, it's going to burn and go out in a few seconds. Right, so that's going to be pentane, that one there. Next up we're going to try toluene, which is very aromatic heavy. And so these things tend to burn with a much sootier flame. It's also a little denser. I'm doing this because it's one of these weird things. There's sodium potassium alloy will sink in toluene, which is maybe beneficial, but it'll float in pentane. So I don't know what this one will do. So let's just try a few mils. And it'll certainly burn, yeah, the aromatics are what they have for all the fireballs in Hollywood. So it's almost certainly, okay, let's smart. There you go. As you can see, so I'm actually surprised that's burning. And it doesn't look like there's any soot coming out, which is impressive, and we're out. Good. Okay. So that's going to be toluene. So I do actually have a choice of the fuels that I could use here. So, which one are we going to go for? And of course I can mix the two, which I did earlier. So let's try a mix of these two. And now it's mix. And let's see what mix does for us. It burns nice and blue up at the top here. You obviously get little droplets out, which, yeah, I'm not sure if they're burning or not. So, doesn't really greatly matter. So the real question is, what happens when we do this with sodium potassium alloy? Which I do actually have some of here. Now, sodium potassium alloy is completely evil. You probably won't be able to see a lot there, but it's under oil at the moment, which is a good way to keep the stuff. So I've got various choices. I can either just try and burn it directly. This is maybe one option. Or when sodium potassium alloy is under pentane or whatever, it'll give it some protection from the atmosphere. So in the first instance, I think I'm just going to go for pentane with a little bit of sodium potassium alloy. So I'm going to need some syringes for this. Okay, now curiously, in terms of energy density, all the gasoline things are king, right? So even though sodium potassium alloy, explodes in water, catches fire in air, does all sorts of horrible things, the actual energy density of it is lower than gasoline. So, I know if I'm only putting a mil or so in here, there is a real limit to what can actually go wrong. So I am going to go for a milliliter. Actually quite a lot, compared to some of the other experiments that we've done. Actually, I should check. Let me check the audio. Can you hear? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear what I'm saying. It looks decent on the stream, but I'm doing stuff in the lab. I've got my hands full doing crazy stuff. I need some long needles. Good. Have some long needles. Super. Thank you for the thumbs up. Right, so now I've got me some long ass needles, which I'm going to this is probably one of the craziest things I've ever done, and I've done some crazy stuff in my time. So let's try and keep the flammable stuff off on one side. This is one of the things, when you know it's actually going to catch fire, you're having it on a nice steel plate, it mostly keeps it safe, right? So here we're going to have, that's one long ass needle, which I'm going to pull out my sodium potassium alloy with. So this will likely either work fantastically or crash and burn spectacularly. Okay, I'm only going to go for half a mil in the first instance. So, where are we at? Unfortunately, I would have to refocus the camera. It's not autofocus, but that's liquid metal there. That's sodium potassium alloy. Now, I could just try and burn that directly in the airbrush, but that might sort of destroy the airbrush. So I'm going entirely on instinct here as to. That's fairly safe. Okay, super. So this was my pentane in here, and we've got about 2 mils of pentane in there. And if I squirt this into the pentane, we should get lots of little droplets. There we go, super. So I'm just going to squirt in my. Oh, it's just come out as one big drop. That's not what you're meant to do. Okay, that's more like it. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, now I'm just going to shake it like crazy. Hopefully that'll split up it into lots of little droplets. And it doesn't. It still sits there as sodium potassium alloy. Okay, well, in which case let's go for this. This might just go disastrously wrong. This is real science. Okay, so it looks like it all sits at the bottom. Sod it, let's just go for it. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Looks beautiful in there. Right, okay. This is it. We'll probably do nothing to start with. Let's see. And there's nothing. It's not going through at all. It's blocked the nozzle. Yeah, well. At least I think it is. Okay, let's try jacking up the pressure a little. See if that helps suck stuff through. The other thing I can do is I can apply pressure to this. At the moment it's just being sucked through by an absolutely minuscule pressure differential there. So let's try more pressure. Okay, let's not do that. It will need, so it's just sat in there, I can see it, it's just sat in there. It needs some sort of form of applying pressure on the top of this, which I don't have any easy method of doing. Okay, let's try actually just taking it apart, seeing what it looks like. Okay, it all works. So, the needle, there is no sign that anything has come out here. So I could, the way these things work is there is a needle valve on the end here, which basically stuff runs down to the end of the needle and it's nebulized. It's not even trying to go down to the end of the needle, so it might just be the surface tension that's holding it in here. Which, this might work. Okay, so I've got a lid on there. Now all I've got to do is apply a little bit of pressure to the top here. This I have a very small chance of being able to do with a piece of rubber tubing. It's all completely improvised, you understand. I have never done this before. Right, let's try. That's a decent piece of rubber tubing. Maybe overkill. Okay, I think we're in business, right? So, completely improvised solution. So I'm going to use that to apply. I mean, I can. The syringes like this are fantastic for giving you small amounts of pressure. So that's 0 atmospheres. Well, okay, that's 1 atmosphere. You put half the volume in there. That's 2 atmospheres. And you go up to there, it's like 3 atmospheres, and that's almost all you can do with syringes this big. I'm probably only going to need the smallest amount of pressure on this, but the problem is I have no good seal. I've just got a little hole on the top there, which is okay. Yeah, I'm not even getting a seal. Bugger. I think it might be leaking out the side. Okay, let's be aggressive. Hey, is something coming out? Something came out. Okay, most of the liquid came out, most of the sodium potassium alloy did not. Okay, let's try that again. Bugger. No, I'm not getting a seal. So, okay, this might be the end of it for today, unless I can, so, I'm not able to show you able to see in there, you can't. Okay, right, I need a way of pushing the sodium potassium alloy through here, which I just do not have at the moment. I need some more liquid on top of this. Tricky. That might do it. That might do it. If I get a super seal in there and put a bung and then just stick a needle in, that might do it. Okay. So this is the idea, you get these sort of rubber bungs. If I can find one that fits, this gives you a seal, then I just inject some air in to the top. That'll provide us with a little bit of head pressure, which hopefully will do it for us, but we do need one of the right size. That's just annoyingly... That work? I think that works. That's lucky. Okay, that's on back to front. In fact, that might actually provide the pressure right there and then. I think it does. Let's try it. Oh yeah! Oh! There you go! It works! And so that fire there you go, that's it! And you see the white smoke, that's what I'm after. One sodium flamethrower. And how's it burn? There are some little flecks of sodium here, which might burn. It probably will burn if you get high enough. But there you go! Partial success! That's actually... okay. That's not bad. I'll buy that for $1. Cool! Right. Now comes the interesting thing. The cleanup on this stuff is tricky. So, again, yeah, you can see this. Right, so all of this stuff here is sodium potassium alloy. There are little flecks of it lying around, which sodium potassium alloy, if you get it anywhere near water, is a guaranteed fire starter. So let's try that. Here's get a nice little wet piece of paper, and yeah, you'll be able to see that. There you go. Okay, so there's a lot of unburnt stuff here. Right? All the sparks and stuff, that's unburned. But you know, you got to bear in mind, this is my very first attempt at trying to do this, and the mere fact that this will provide us a nebulized solution, a nebulized sodium potassium alloy. What I really want to do is I want to hook up steam on this. At the moment, I'm just using compressed air with a very low compression on it. I'm going to shift this over to steam, such that just like this spontaneously catches fire. Yeah, you can probably see that. Just like this spontaneously catches fire when you get it near water. If you get this in steam, it'll do exactly the same. So, yeah, that's actually a very, very good start. Oh, it's smouldering gently in the corner there. Right. Now, also the problem is, once you get reasonable sized lumps of sodium potassium alloy, so I've got some reasonable sized lumps in there, you won't be able to see them, is how do you get rid of them? And ethanol is usually pretty good for this sort of thing. It's alcohol. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some alcohol in there and see if it all washes through. This might also be fairly entertaining, but you know, these are the the little proto experiments that you've got to do to sort of just work out if things are sensible or not. So, alcohol, of course, comes in decent sized pots. You have a good party with that. And this is actually out of the fridge, so we mostly just use it for cooling. It's got very low. It's quite fun actually. You get ethanol and you stick it in liquid nitrogen, and it eventually becomes all syrupy. And yeah, it does interesting stuff. Okay, right. So let's see if we can get something. This might all catch fire as well. So you got to be a little bit careful that you're ready to drop things and. So I'm cutting down my volume of alcohol to a few mils. You know, it just limits the size of the fire that you can have. Okay, let's see what this does for us. Oh, straight away we're going to get fizzing that. Let's see what that does when we go. Oh, that's not bad. So we're on ethanol now. Okay, this is, oops. Oh, that's a little aggressive. Okay. So it's not blocked the nozzle, which is good. Okay, at this point I'm just going to pour it out. And there you go, and there's your ethanol flame. A little bits of sodium in there. Good. Good. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do next. I'm actually going to load this up with water and then I'm going to spray it over everything. So that should get us clean to the end here. And then I think I'll probably end the stream. Okay, water of course you don't have to worry too much about, but water and sodium potassium alloy, little bits of fire. So this is you've got to do this basically as clean up anyway, is everything gets coated with water. It's the only really safe way to get rid of sodium potassium alloy. Yeah. So once it's all reacted away, of course, it's all nice and safe. That being said, with a lot of this, yeah, what do you saw that? It's very easy to get lulled into a false sense of security with this stuff because it tends to form crusts, and so it looks like it's safe, but it's not. Once it goes through the crust, it immediately catches fire. So, okay. So let's ditch that, and oh. You won't be able to see it, but down here there's all sort of pink stuff because the sodium potassium alloy is a wonderful solvent that's dissolved off some of the paint. But let's go back to seeing if it's still, seeing if we've affected the nozzle anyway by... It's not burning. There we go. Super. Only one slightly beat up paintbrush. Still got a little bit of sodium potassium alloy in there. Right, so I'm going to clean up the rest of this and make it safe. But that, I think, was fairly successful. So, thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And, right, I'm not quite entirely, audio is not great because you're on a webcam in the fume cupboard, but I just kind of figured that if I was going to do something that might be iconic, you could as well make a stream out of it. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to end the stream now, and thanks for watching. Ciao.